I think that this is the point where student voice can really come into its own. Students really are experts in this field, and it really makes sense to listen to them. So I would say a starting point is to ask students what their experience is and what their experience of sexism is, and use that as a starting point.
I think you can start challenging gender stereotypes by looking at your visible role models. So looking at the people you invite into the school, looking at your classroom displays, and seeing whether the gender split is as balanced as you perhaps initially thought.
I think exploring how we validate children, sometimes in our interactions, so looking at when we interact with children, do we validate things like their appearance? And if we do that, are we doing that more with girls than we do with boys? And what kind of message we send when we do that? So I think that's a good place to start from.
So one top tip for challenging gender stereotypes in primary school is to think about the language the teacher is using in the classroom. So referring to children rather than boys and girls, because otherwise you're always reinforcing difference. And then when talking to parents or about parents, not always expecting mum to be doing everything, but talking about mum, dad, carers, grandparents and everyone.
I think looking at language is an important thing, that schools are rightly trying to do things about tackling homophobic and racist language, but I think they could do a lot more to tackle sexist language, and talking to the students about their experiences and getting teachers to then reflect on how language is used, I think is a really important starting point.
Well, starting to challenge gender stereotypes can feel like too big a task to take on. So the advice I would give to teachers is you just need to start somewhere. For example, you could start by looking at what's in your curriculum. You could start thinking about the language that's used around the school.